Hello, YouTube. ZiggyNo back with a sports card story, and this one's kind of interesting because it's kind of like a full circle sports card story. I think I mentioned a few weeks ago that I was at a coffee house or someplace, and some guy saw my shirt and asked me about a player, and I recommended he check out the Vintage Sanctuary on YouTube. A couple of reasons. I really like Adam at the Vintage Sanctuary. I love his demeanor, his conversation, his humor. It's just warm and welcoming. I feel like it's a sanctuary in a way. Um, and the reason I bring that up is that I found out just recently that Adam is actually very, very new to not only YouTube, but collecting. And I kind of knew he was new to YouTube because I saw his channel was relatively new. I think I had a few hundred subscribers. But again, let me kind of tell you the story. So I was listening the other day to John Mangini, which I'm a huge fan of John Mangini's content. If you guys haven't already subscribed, I mean, come on, you can't be listening to me and not listen to him. So was listening to him, and he had a conversation with Adam. And I'm like, this is gonna be great. Two vintage gurus. I can learn a lot here. And it starts off with basically Adam just telling his origin story. So without ruining, because I really want you to go listen to John's video, and I'll leave a link below because it's a good place to start. But he says how he's actually a coin collector that I guess decided to trade a few coins in for some vintage cards. And it kind of started like a disease. He bought one, then he got another one, then he has another one, then he has some goals. And he's still very, very new to vintage. And again, I don't want to ruin it. My story is not his story. My story is just, it's this story about finding out about him. So here he is telling the story how he's new to the hobby, how he's gotten the cards, and John's sharing stuff with him. And man, it was awesome because like every story that Adam said, yeah, I'm looking at doing these red back blank blank blanks, and I'm not a vintage guy, so forgive me. Do these red backs, and John's like, oh yeah, there's only 55 of those. It was just a naturally warm, fuzzy, great conversation, and it made me again think about that is what's awesome about the hobby. Another quick point to make here is that here's a little bit of Adam's origin story because John said, well, what got you into doing YouTube then? If you're new to just vintage in general collecting, were you doing coins and YouTube? He goes, no. He said basically he was listening to Mike, baseball collector. There is Chris Sewell, the baseball card collector, investor, dealer, in that order. And then there's baseball collector, Mike, and I forget Mike's last name, but Mike, great guy, huge fan, recommend him as well, part of Bench Clear. You can find him. He was hosting, and I think this is on Bench Clear. What is this vintage show called? It's slipping my mind. I should have my notes in front of me. I don't. Cardboard something. Oh, forgive me. But this will make you look it up. On Bench Clear, Mike has a weekly show on vintage. What's really great about this show, by the way, is Father does the intro, and I love the Father's intro because it's very radio-esque, and the Father makes a little joke in the intro, and I love it. Anyway, so Mike apparently was running his podcast, and he said, I'm looking for anybody to dial in and want to join me. And I don't think I dialed in the show. I don't think it was live, but sent an email said he'd love to join him. So Adam was on Mike's show very early on when he first got into it, as a new guy to collecting, which I'll tell you, I have not listened to that entire channel, that entire conversation. I'm gonna go back to that. And part of my story is that this all starts with, I met Vintage Sanctuary through YouTube, and I like this content, and I recommend it to people who want to learn about vintage. Also because John Mangini, I can't remember the name of his channel, and I'm afraid if I tell you John Mangini, you might go to the wrong place. So John, if you have a channel, you might change your name because it'd be easier if I could say, hey, John, the Vintage Master or something. I don't know. Anyway, so I gave him Vintage Sanctuary. Turns out Vintage Sanctuary got to start because of baseball collector, and I learned all about it because of John Mangini. Isn't that kind of a cool circle of life, like, origin? And then again, here's the other piece that was like, I was like, I got to talk about this. I love how it's kind of a butterfly effect. Like, there were people who did content inspired me. Some of it was I did my content in spite of them. Like, that idiot did something, I can do something better. No, I just joke. Or it was people like, oh, he did something, I think I'll do something too. And what I will say out there, if you are in the content creation world, do it. Do it. Reach out. I think most of the YouTube community is pretty friendly. I even think like the Pokemon guys seem pretty cool with each other. Funko Pop guys seem to be pretty cool with each other. So do it. Do it because you don't know who you're going to impact. You don't know who you're going to educate. You're going to enlighten. No lives were changed. No one was hurt, damaged, died, or anything because of this. But man, I feel richer in my life knowing about Adam at the Vintage Sanctuary, knowing about his story, knowing more about John Mangini and how he shared his knowledge with Adam, knowing about baseball card collector and how he started this whole thing by sprinkling all this stuff. If you haven't already, you got to do your pet peeves video, guys. Got to get that out. In fact, that should be an annual, I think it's an October tradition. The Mike Baseball Collectors annual airing of pet peeves in the hobby. I mean, dude, come on, right? Guys, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you have a great day. Stay healthy, stay safe. Love your feedback and your support. And that's it. Thanks.